Hello, everyone. So if you could just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly. Just need one thumbs up. Anyone brave enough to give a thumbs up? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good. So we are about to start, and I'm hoping that your colleagues will join in time. Just out of curiosity, maybe you could inform me in the chat. How are you accessing the internet? Do you have it through the labs? Or you're using Wi-Fi in your halls of residence or using bundles? Could you please type into the chat just like how are people accessing the internet? I just want to be mindful of that. So maybe I should just post the question, how are you accessing internet? Bundles, Wi-Fi at halls, labs. In other words, do you have stable internet connections? Wi-Fi. Okay, good. Is it reliable and stable? Mhm. Yes, okay, good. So you have no restrictions in terms of what you can download. Okay, good. Anyone who is accessing using bundles, so I'll just put bundles and please give a like to that bundles if you are using bundles. Okay, someone is using bundles. Okay, do you have enough bundles that you can download big files? Okay. Now, it will really be helpful if in the course of this class, we can get some interaction. So that will really, really help me just to make sure that I know I'm not talking to myself. So can we at least at the bare minimum agree to have some sort of interactivity? That would really be, let's give a thumbs up if you are keen on being interactive and responsive so that I can know what you understand, what you don't understand, where you're struggling. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay, so welcome to this class on Introduction to Python for Engineers. My name is Paul Korir, and I um I don't know what to describe myself as. Well, currently I work as a data scientist. I lead a data science team within within an organization called data.org. But at the same time, I also run a training company where I try and train young people to learn technical skills, specifically Python, because that's what I've worked extensively in. But I think I don't want to be confined to Python. I have, just like you, I was a student at University of Nairobi. I graduated in 2006. And then I was very fortunate. I managed to get a job at Safaricom. I worked there for a couple of years. And then I moved to another telecom company called Alcatel-Lucent, which is now called Nokia Networks. And then I went for further studies. And then after that, I did computational biology. If anyone has heard of computational biology, it's applying computational techniques to genomic data, so DNA and protein data. So I'm really, really interested in training young people like yourselves. I really want to share whatever skills I have learned. And my hope is that together, we can accomplish something more than I or you can accomplish. Anytime you have students interacting with a teacher, it's a collaboration. And the collaboration is designed to accomplish learning and understanding. So that's really what I want to accomplish. I really want to share what I have learned. And if you have questions, if you're curious, um, please feel free to ask. Don't be shy. I always appreciate it when people ask questions. I don't believe there's anything such as a silly question, a stupid question, unless your intentions are silly or stupid. We are here to learn from one another, and any question that you ask is a question that could benefit someone else. So I really want to encourage you. Let's not be shy. We are creating a learning environment, an environment where we can all grow in our knowledge. So what I'd ask is that we create an atmosphere where questions are welcome. In having an inquisitive mindset is really welcome. So please don't be shy about asking questions. Feel free to ask questions. You can post them in the chat, and we can then try and make as much progress as possible. We do not have a lot of time, and therefore I want to go straight into starting. So today's material, I'm going to share my screen and just show you an overview of what I intend to cover over the next few sessions. So this course is designed to be for a total of 9 sessions, 3 sessions every week, 3 sessions this week, 3 sessions next week, and 3 sessions in the last week. And the goal is by the end of this course, you have the right setup on your computer so that you can then move forward with Python. And I'm going to really emphasize there's one particular integrated development environment called PyCharm. So that's what we're going to do. By the end of today's session, my hope is that you have PyCharm installed correctly. And then I want to introduce you to what I call the TOC framework. And the TOC framework is a very simple idea that every programming language can be broken down into those 3 components: types and operations, which usually go together. And then every programming language will have its own way of expressing constructs. So constructs are just the way the syntax looks like, the way if you want to write an if statement in a language, there's a way it is structured. And then I want to also introduce you to fundamental concepts of programming, also to provide you with practical exercises to expand your ability in a language, and to introduce you to core libraries. So on the 3rd week, we're going to look at core libraries of NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. Now, some of you have already looked at some of these things, and so I'll try and provide exercises that will stretch your skills in each of these libraries. In terms of resources for the class, we have a Google Classroom. So please make sure that you're registered on the Google Classroom, because that's where I'm going to share all the content. There was an enrollment questionnaire, which we're going to walk through very shortly. The Zoom link, you obviously have used that. And for this week specifically, there is a little booklet that I've put together, which hopefully you have all gotten access to, which will provide you with a step-by-step material, including exercises, multiple choice questions, and code samples. So today specifically, so over the next 3 weeks, for this week, we'll deal with foundational concepts. So by the end of this week, you should have a basic understanding of how to write a Python program. And I would strongly encourage you to invest time in looking at the problem sets, the example problems, and the example code, and stretch yourself, okay? And next week, we're going to look at object-oriented Python programming, again, using this TOC framework, types, operations, and constructs. We look at the class construct, and then we look at inheritance. This has to do with borrowing, and then polymorphism. And those really are the foundations. Like once you have an understanding of how to do that, then you will be in a good position to progress further. It's just that really is just the basics. And then on week 3, we're going to now dive into some engineering specific problems. So we look at NumPy and Matplotlib, and we look at SciPy and Pandas. So that's an overview. For today, I've told you a little bit about myself. I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this and what my vision is. We'll go through the pre-evaluation. I'll give you some tips and some suggestions that will sort of get you in the right direction. And then we'll do the setup overview of TOC. And then I'd like us to also decide when the next class would be. Session 2 for this week which will be repeated next week and the third week, and session 3 for this week and the third week as well. So I'll pause there and find out, first of all, do we have any questions, anything that needs to be clarified? I'll just give you 1 minute. Please ask. Feel free to ask before we proceed. No questions. So everything has been understood. If you've understood everything I've said, please give me a thumbs up. Okay, I'm seeing thumbs up. Excellent. I'm still waiting to see. A few people are still quite reticent. Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay, good. Let's now move on to the next thing. So maybe one question we should ask is, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Because you are the future of Africa. Africa is poised at a very interesting place in its history. There are, out of all the continents, Africa is the one continent that has the highest number of young people. And by 2050, that number is expected to even be higher. 1 out of 3 young people on the planet will be from Africa. That will be yourselves. By that point, you will be very much ahead in your careers. And for you to lead that generation, you need to have technical skills. So having the ability to write programs in a day and age where AI is ready to eat your lunch is very important. And my vision right now, my goal is I want to try and train 1,000 people over the next 6 months. So that's really my goal. And in addition to that, I'll be running a series of workshops which are completely separate from this, which are in person, not Zoom, in person. If you're interested in that, you can always reach out to me and try and find out what that is about. But my vision is I want to train 1,000 programmers in the next 6 months. So that's my goal. That's why I'm doing this. Now, I just want to be clear. I'm doing this gratis. I'm not being paid. And that's the reason why I'm really appealing to you that if you are, for us to make this work, I want you to be present and attentive and try and make the most of this opportunity. Because I don't know anywhere else where you're going to find someone ready to teach you from their experience with nothing in return. So please take advantage of this opportunity now. Now, I want us to go over the evaluation and what most of you filled out. So you could probably see my screen. Excellent that most of you have got a laptop. I think one of you is using Linux. Most of you are unfamiliar with Python, which is helpful because it means you're going to learn something from this. And for a large majority of you, there's a solid blue, meaning that you are not familiar with some of these concepts. But I'm curious in terms of how many hours would you estimate that you have been? So first of all, what years are you in? Are you in first, second, third, or fourth year? So can I get just responses in the chat? What year are you in your engineering? Just put a number, one or second. So if you are second, just click the like on the second. If you're third, someone can type in third and you can click the like on the third. I just want to get a sense of the numbers. Okay, so I have 1, 5, 7. Okay, so practically everyone is second year. Okay, that's very useful. So now here's the next question. Have you taken any, because I remember in my time we had computer science year 1 and computer science in year 2. So we had 4 units of computer science. What did you learn in that computer science? Just in the chat. Or if someone is brave enough to unmic and speak. Or you did C++. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is not at all and 5 is expert, how do you feel as C++ programmers? Like, are you able to write a C++ program on your own without making any reference? That's 2. Okay, 2.53. Okay, so you do know how to write programs. I'm getting the sense that, okay, cool. Very good. Thank you for that feedback. And then the last thing here, which so all these others, yes, use ChatGPT, that's fine. Now I just wanted to bring attention to this last part here, which has to do with typing. So I think you have several people in the class who have got extremely high typing speed, which is very impressive. But most of you fall here in the center. And what I'd like to invite you to consider, and I have created a sheet which you've probably received a message about, is to invest time in typing. Why? Because this is a day and age where if you cannot work efficiently with a computer, you are going to be locked out. You're going to be left out. And therefore, you need to be fluent with using a computer. It's one of the best ways to be fluent with a computer, especially if you're going to go into a technical job where you're working with computers, is how to type. And learning how to type is actually not difficult, but it requires a very deliberate investment of time and effort. And the beautiful thing is it's actually quite free for you to learn typing. So what I have here on the screen is a website called EdClub. Now, EdClub, if I can just highlight this, EdClub, you need to just sign up and they will take you step by step. So for example, let me log in. I'll log into my account and I will log in with, you probably won't see this. I'll log into my account and yes, so here it gives me a typing jungle. I think I can choose another lesson plan. Maybe I can pick digital citizenship, typing low notes. They should be like the basics. They have all of these. These are usually used by kids, but nobody cares. The goal is to get just the basic knowledge on typing. Typing jungle, those the other one that I was looking at, digital literacy. Um, typing grade 7. And you can, as you can see, you can move through all of these levels. So let's just stick with the one that I had before so that I can show you what the classes actually look like. So whenever you click on each of these, they have a little video and they take you through to type like a pro. So let's just assume I've watched the whole video and reached the end. So you will start by, step by step, you will one finger at a time, and you will have to just press and it will show you J, for example. And then it will now give you some exercises. So if you click continue, F, 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 J, 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 F, 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 J, J, and so on and so forth. And this is how you learn how to type. So I'll encourage you, please take the time to invest in learning how to type. And what I've done is I've also provided you with a sheet where you can enter your daily scores if you want to. What this will allow you to do, let me just open, I have another, I'll show you. Just wait. Docs, sheets. So I had a couple of interns who worked with me. Oh, here it is. And what they did, so this is probably the best example of what they were able to accomplish. So this is over a period of 4 months, and they entered their typing speed every day. And with time, they just progressed gradually. Now, one of them actually, within that 4 months, managed to attain a typing speed of 51 words per minute, which is very impressive, if you ask me. Now, he has reached a typing speed of 62 words per minute. But he invested the time daily to go through something like EdClub so that he could end up with such a score. Okay, I can tell you a story about this, but we're not going to spend time on that. But what I've provided here is a sheet which has, I put random numbers here for now, but if you'll all find a column with your name. If you don't find your name, just insert it at the end. And what I'd like you to do is every day, just do some practice, just 15 minutes, and just step by step. Be very deliberate about it in how you learn. So just very thoughtful. Try to be in an environment where there's no distraction and you don't have noise, and you can just focus on teaching your fingers how to know the position of letters without having to look at the keyboard. It'll take you step by step. The video that I skipped has got some very good clues on how to place your fingers and so on. And if you do this just day by day, 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, and then you go to the 10 fast fingers to get an estimate, and you enter that estimate into the sheet. So if, let's say, patience, today you got 33, and then the next day you get 17, and the next day you get whatever, just keep doing that on a day by day basis. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. I think it's a useful skill to develop, especially as working with computers is just going to be more and more indispensable and essential for your careers. So if that resonates with you, if that makes sense, can I get a thumbs up just for clarity? Okay. Excellent. Thank you very much. Okay. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, so we looked at the pre-evaluation. I've challenged you to do some typing. One thing that I'll really want to emphasize, really want to emphasize, I know how tempting it is. Please try not to use Gen AI or ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini because it steals from you. I don't know what your experience was like as a student in high school, but I remember that um, there used to be students who would be asked how to solve problems by other students. So, for example, one student is very good at maths, and other students will come and ask him, "Can you help me solve this problem?" Now, every time the smart student would get a question, they would go stronger. And every time a student would ask someone else without actually trying themselves, they would lose an opportunity to learn. When you use Gen AI, you lose the opportunity to learn. So Gen AI is a thief. Let me just make that very clear right now. It will completely steal from you opportunities to improve and to think. Programming is about thinking, as you've experienced this in your C++ course. You're given the syntax, you're told how to write a C++ program, but every C++ program requires you to very carefully think through the steps of that program. You write line by line. So just for your own good, I will strongly encourage, please do not use Gen AI to give you answers. You'd much rather ask a classmate who will then solve it and then explain it to you rather than you using Gen AI. Gen AI is really detrimental to your learning process. So, can I get a show of thumbs if we all agree? Let's show of thumbs if we are all agreeing that's the honor code for this class, that we shall not use Gen AI for our own good. Now, I'm not going to police this, okay? This is for your own good. So all I ask is, for your own good, please do not use Gen AI. Steer clear of Gen AI. Okay, good. So we've covered all of this. Now let's go into the beginning part, setup. So for us to do this, let me take you back to this little booklet. And what I want to do is I just want to give you an overview of what this booklet has. And so this booklet is divided into 4 parts. Part 1, does everyone have access to this booklet? I believe everyone does because it's available on Google Classroom. Part 1 is about making sure that you are set up correctly. Part 2 then is what we'll cover next week, and it has to do with what are called atoms and operations and containers. We'll look at containers as well. So next week will be an omnibus session with quite a lot of material. And then in the last week, we're going to look at constructs, which will be it'll be more straightforward. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do setup. So first of all, by a show of hands, how many of you have installed PyCharm already? So could I just get a show of hands? How many people have installed PyCharm? Just raise your hand. You can click on the React button and click on the raise your hand. Okay, that's two, three. Only three, four people have installed PyCharm. Okay, how many people have installed Git? How many people have Git on their computer? And how many people have, okay, very good. How many people have a GitHub account? Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you. So let's do this. Let's get started with PyCharm. So for you to install PyCharm, I'm going to share my screen. I already have PyCharm installed, so I don't really need to install it. But what I'll ask you all to do is, I'll just share my, no, let me not share that. It's not very helpful. I will share just this window. So let's get started with PyCharm. Actually, before we do PyCharm, let's install Python. So to install Python, what you need to do is go to python.org. Okay, and most of you are on Windows. So when you click on downloads, it will tell you download for Windows. It should tell you download for Windows. Don't download the one for Mac or the one for Linux. So what I want you to do is click download for whatever your operating system. If you don't see your operating system, then we may then need to find all releases. So you then might need to click all releases. So we're going to go step by step. And what I'm going to do is every time I'm going to type in the chat, download Python. And I just want to see, once you're done with that, I'd like you to just like that, just click the thumbs up, like what I have indicated there. Okay, so that I can tell, I know that you are 50 of you, so I want to see around 45 because most of you said that here. So just click there once you've downloaded Python. We're just going to go step by step. And if you have a problem, please raise your hand. Alex, you have a problem, please. You can unmute yourself and then raise your, okay, so you've lowered your hand. That's fine. Okay, 6, 7. I'll just wait for you to download Python. You should be downloading Python 3.13.7. Okay, 9. Okay, I'll be back in 1 second. Let me grab a glass of water. If you're having any trouble, please type it in the chat. Now, if you've downloaded Python, the next step is you're going to install Python. So you'll just run the package. And again, as you complete this step, please just click the thumbs up for that little chat message. Okay. Just click the install Python text in the chat. Okay, so we have 12 people who installed Python. Anyone having any problem installing Python? So if once you have installed Python, the next thing I'd like you to do is to download and install Git. So to get Git, you'd have to go to, I think it's called gitscm.org. I think it's org. Yes. And then you download the one that is for your operating system, like I've indicated. So I'm downloading for Mac, but if I need something else, I'll obviously look for there's a Windows build. If you have Linux, it'll probably have Git. Now, what you could do, let me add to the share so that you can also see. I want to have a terminal. Actually, mm, okay, so I have a little terminal here, and I can check my version of Git by typing git dash dash version. So I have 2.39, which is kind of old, but it's good enough. The latest is 2.51. So try and install the latest if you have. So if you have downloaded and installed Git, please click the like on that little bubble, that little text message, chat message. Good. With the Python installation, is anyone have any problems? If you do have any problems, could you just write a chat message like under the word install Python, like problems, and then you describe your problem. Then we can deal with it. The same thing for downloading and installing it. If you have a problem, just reply to that message in the chat where specifying what your problem is. I think you can even put a screenshot. That might be helpful also. Should be possible to put a screenshot. Screenshot, yeah, there is an option for screenshot. That will really help me. So if you have an error message. Now, the next thing, I'll just put it in the chat, but you'll just go through these one by one, is to create a GitHub profile. So that's the next thing. If you've cleared the download, install Git. So for the GitHub profile, you simply go to github.com. and you create an account. So oh, what is this? I don't know who that is. That Arsenal, okay. So I'm already, okay. So you click sign up on the top left. Let me see. I just click mark here, right at the top here. Sign up, click sign up. But we'll get to that later. So first of all, install Python, download and install Git, and then create a GitHub profile. If you already have a GitHub profile, just click the thumbs up on the create a GitHub profile message. I'm very glad to see that nobody has problems so far. That's very encouraging. How can you know if you've downloaded Python? So my first question to you is, which operating system are you using? You could type a response in the chat. Is it Windows? You want to scare, what you could do is, oh, Windows, okay then. So typically with Windows, well, let's do this because we're going to install PyCharm last. PyCharm should automatically find your Python. Now, by default, I'm using a Mac, so I don't really know. This would be a useful point where someone who's installed it correctly can just, if you open a um, command prompt and you type Python, you should get a response. You should get something that says Python minus minus version. Was that for Windows as well, Kyle? Chule? Yeah, good. So open the command prompt. Let's just do, what am I doing? Oh, okay. Uh, so Windows command prompt. I think you just use Windows R and you type CMD. Yeah, Windows R, and then you say write command prompt, and you should get something that looks like this. And in there, you type Python dash dash version. So let me know if that works, if that helps. And you can click a like to that question. Let's encourage Khalid because that's wonderful. It's great to have questions. And we should also click a like for Chula's message. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. So, Khalid, success? Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Well done. Well done. Okay, so where are we? We are creating GitHub profiles. I want to see everyone with a GitHub profile because there are certain steps up ahead. If you don't have a GitHub profile, you are not going to be able to make any progress. Okay, now for those who have Python installed, Git installed with a GitHub profile. Now, and you don't have PyCharm, you now need to install PyCharm. So download and install PyCharm. So PyCharm, you go to, I think you can just go to pycharm.com. Is it .org? Okay, I don't think it's .org. I'll be surprised if it is. No, it is not. It's pycharm.com. Okay, so it's not PyCharm. So I guess it's JetBrains.com, and then we'll find the PyCharm website. I will just search PyCharm on Google, and there we go, JetBrains/PyCharm. So now, it used to be that there were two different PyCharms. There used to be the community edition and then the professional edition. Now they've put them all into one, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything. The pro version will activate. If you wanted the pro version, you can then activate extra features. By default, you'll have like a month of a trial. So when you go to this page, now you can download. Oh wow. Yeah, so now you can download. I don't want to use, I want that. Yeah. Oh, what is it doing? This is strange. Pen, yes. Yeah, so click the download button to download PyCharm, and then you run the installation. So just as before, I'd like to see thumbs up for everyone who's downloaded and installed PyCharm. Now, the reason we started off by installing Python, then Git, and setting up the GitHub profile is because if they're all set up correctly, once you run the installation of PyCharm, PyCharm will find everything it needs. And so the moment you boot it up, it'll then work correctly. It'll work perfectly fine from the get-go. The alternative would have been you start with PyCharm, but then you'd have to then install Python and all that. But this is a much more straightforward way. Okay, 5 people have downloaded and installed PyCharm. Thank you very much. Now, for those who haven't yet finished with their GitHub profile, can I get an indication of whether there's any problems you have experienced? Or with installing Git, I don't have 50 likes because I have 53 of you in addition to myself. I want to see 53, 54 likes on everything. Because if I proceed and you haven't installed, then we will just keep going back. We don't have a lot of time. So can I just get as many thumbs up as possible? Once you've done each step, please don't forget to do a thumbs up because at some point I'll move on and I will not come back. So maybe another way is if you could indicate with a thumbs down if you're having a problem, then we can zero in on what that is. Anyone having a problem on downloading and installing Python, on downloading and installing Git, creating a GitHub profile, downloading and installing PyCharm, please indicate with a thumbs down. I just want to see any thumbs down. Now, for those who have downloaded and installed PyCharm, I'd like you to, okay, Great. So could you please tell us what the problem is? Which part are you? Because if you clicked a thumbs down on, let's say, create a GitHub profile, I will know that you're having a problem there. So Rubea, could you please, which part are you having a problem with? Please put a thumbs down on either download and install Git, download and install Python, create a GitHub profile, or download and install PyCharm. I need to know where you're stuck. Download is not Python. So what error do you get? Do you get an error? Can you share a screenshot? If you want to share a screenshot, you click on the reply and click on there's a screenshot button there, which is Command T or Control T, and it will allow you to then take a screenshot of whichever part you want, either the full computer or a part of it. You can drag and select. So for example, I will just right now send a screenshot and I'll say capture and you'll see it show up in the. So please do something similar so that I can know where you're having a problem. Is it a bandwidth problem? Is it a download error problem? Is your disk full? I'm waiting for you, Rubea. Could I please get a response? Anyone else having a problem with any of the steps? Okay, I see that. Thank you for sharing. Okay, I'm not seeing the download doesn't, it's not visible. Okay, well, let's see. Let's try something here. Yeah, your file doesn't seem to be opening. I don't know how to open this file. What type of it? Was it a PNG or a JPG? Sorry, Rube, I really can't help you because the file is an interesting format. Let me just see, what can I do? Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can figure out a way to. Hmm. Could you share your screen so that we can figure out what's going on? Could you please share your screen? You don't have to share anything. So just share the part where you have an error. And this will be it will be helpful for others because others can then benefit from learning what needs to be fixed. Let me just share. I'll allow you to share your screen. So if you can share your screen, share the part where you have an error, then that'll help us. Okay. If I cannot help you if I cannot see. What kind of error do you get? Okay, so I cannot help. I will have to proceed at this point. Now, I want to proceed to PyCharm right now. So if I don't get an indication of any help needed, I will proceed and we shall not come back here again. So please let me know now if you're having any problems getting all the way till the end by either sharing your screen, turning on your mic, and then we walk through your situation, which would be helpful for others, or you can try and ask your classmates later on to help you out. Can you make a screenshot of your computer without using the Zoom feature? Are you on your own? Can you get help from someone next to you, or are you far away? Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't help if I don't have any information. Okay, so let's proceed. So does everyone have PyCharm installed? So um, I only see 12 people who have installed PyCharm. Now 20, 21. I want to get to at least 50. And for those who have not told me what their problem is, I can't help. So you'll have to get help from someone else at this point. PyCharm is what's called an integrated development environment. This is where you write Python code. And it's designed, it's integrated because it has a lot of features. So now let me open my PyCharm and I'll share that with you so that you can all see. I'll open a new project so that you can see what a brand new project looks like, because I have a lot of projects here that I don't need you to see. Okay, I will open a new. Why is that not? Actually, what I can do, I can just close all these projects. I'm going to share my screen so that you can then see what I expect you to see, what I expect you to have. Okay, so that should now give us something interesting. Okay, so I'm going to add a new share. And we shall now add, so this is what you should see on your screens. You should have something like this. Now, mine is different because I have already a number of projects that I've worked on before, but you will have something similar in terms of projects, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to create a new project. Now, when you have a new project, so new notebook, new project. So we'll select new project. There are other options, new notebook, new script, or you can open something that you've already worked on, or you can clone a repository from GitHub. We're not going to do those now. We'll just click on new project and it should give you a screen like this. Okay. So now you will by default have a certain folder where you have your code. I think it would be useful for you to, I want to teach you something about Git repository. So don't check that box for create Git repository. You can click create a welcome script. That's fine. Let's click that. I don't know, what are the options presented for interpreter type? They should be custom environment, base conda. You probably don't have base conda because you don't have, oh, I haven't shared my screen. I am sharing my screen. I'm seeing what I should be seeing. So what you should be seeing. So please confirm that you can see my screen. You can unmute yourself so that we can talk. Can you see my screen? Please thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, so Marceline, please confirm. I want specifically from you. Can you see my screen? No, you can't. Okay. Now, what I'd suggest is, Marceline, if you can maybe leave the Zoom call and then rejoin, that might reset things on your computer. And I don't think it's a user challenge. So I would really encourage us to make helpful comments. So Marceline, I'm waiting for you to leave and rejoin. Can you see my screen, Marceline? Excellent, very good. Thanks for asking. Otherwise, we would have left you in the dust. So the interpreter type, I would select a project VNV. Just wait. What's this virtual one? Yeah, so project venv, that's what you should have. And it should show you a Python version because you installed PyCharm after installing Python. So it should have found Python. Is there anyone who doesn't have a Python version where it says something like cannot find Python or something like that? So I'm going to put a message, cannot find Python. Please click, please click a like or a thumbs up if you cannot find Python. If you cannot find Python. If it does find Python, do not click thumbs up there. It's a bit counterintuitive. Okay, Muhammad, could you um, could you share your screen, please, so that we can then try and help you fix this? What do you see? It is asking to import VS Code. Is it necessary? No, you can skip that step. NVM is resolved. Is that what it says? NVM is resolved. Oh, never mind, it's resolved. Oh my. Help me by typing full sentences. Okay, then. Thank you, Mohammed. Thanks for clarifying. Everyone else, you have some Python there. I think the only other person would be Ruber. I don't know where you are, Ruber. You want to give us a status update? Where are you right now? Please don't be embarrassed to seek for help. My goal is to help you. If I can't help you now, then you'll lag behind. You'll really lag behind. Okay, let's proceed. Maybe Ruber dropped off. Is it still on? He or she? I sorry, I don't know. I don't know if I have downloaded Python, but I cannot find it in the command prompt. Okay, that's fine. Have you installed the Python? Because you now need to install it. You need to go to where you downloaded it and you double click on that file, and then it will start the installation process. Okay, so we'll come back to you. Just ping us in case you need any help, okay? Okay, good. So everyone has Python version. So now what I'm going to do is I'll click create. You should click create and you should now have, okay, mine has changed because a new window was open. So let me just add that. I will add that. So now you should see that I have a let's just open that properly. Okay, so you should now see this. I'm going to change it from this. I'll do just for myself. I'll enter presentation mode so that you can see much bigger. It's not very nice. I don't like it because it, okay, that's fine. I will manage. Okay, that's okay. So you should see an example Python file. Now, what I want us to do, oh, install, fantastic. So now, can you install Git, download and install Git, and then create a GitHub account? Or you could do those later. Why don't you just follow along with what I'm doing and then you can do those later. So this is a Python file. We have a number of things here. Now I want to just give you an anatomy of Python. This red dot is confusing, but this is a breakpoint. We're not going to do this now, or we're not going to do this. Maybe we'll do this at some point when we're trying to debug code, but you can ignore it for now. It's just a breakpoint. You can click it and turn it off, but that's fine. You should see at the top there, dev, this is a function. These are comments at the top. You know how comments are, what comments are from C++. This is a function which takes one argument. This function is only called once. So that's why it says one usage. One usage. So this is what PyCharm does. It annotates your code. And this is what the role of an IDE. It's an integrated development environment. It makes your life very easy because then you can click and move between functions very fast. I won't show you that for now. But then here we have this green button on the left. This is how we are going to run this file. And then here at the bottom, we have an if construct. We look at if constructs on Friday, and we have, there's a variable there which has been compared to a string. And if that evaluates to true, it's going to call that function. So what I'd ask you to do is just click on the green triangle. You should see a little pop out that comes out, and you click run main. There are other options. We don't want those for now. We just want the first one, run main. So if you run that, click that, you see what it's going to give at the bottom. It'll open a little window, a little section of the window where it'll say hi PyCharm, and then it will say the process finished with an exit code of 0. Now, did everyone get that? I just want to know by a show of hands, has everyone got that? Okay, which part would you like me to repeat, Marceline? I'm happy to repeat, but I'd like to know which particular part. So you want me to go through what the code does? So I said at the top here we have comments, anything with the pound sign or the hash sign, there are different names for that. There's a pound sign, and then we have a function which begins with def. That's the name of the function. This function takes one variable, and then we end the definition of the function, like the declaration of the header of the function with a colon. PyCharm shows us that this is only used one time. Okay, it's the only usage in this project file. And another comment, and this is what it does. It prints out a string. Now, this is a special thing called an F string. And then at the bottom here, we have an if statement. Now, I'm just giving you an overview. So don't expect to master this right now. This is just an overview. And then for us to run it, we have to click the green triangle here. Let me just mark it for you. You mark this green triangle here. And if you click on that, it should run. You should open a little box with many options, and you click run main, and it should run. And you'll see at the bottom there, it's run process finished with an exit code of 0. Does everyone get this? I want to know if anyone doesn't get this, except those who haven't finished the installation. If you have finished the installation, have you successfully run this example script? So, okay, click on for everyone else, just thumbs up on the success like that. Yeah, yeah, good. Excellent, excellent. That's very good. That's very encouraging. Good, 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 good. Now, would you like a 5-minute break? So I'll type break. Okay, then let's have a 5-minute break. Please be back at 15:14 on the dot. 15:14 on the dot. Okay, let's proceed. Now, so we've managed to get PyCharm installed. So what we now need to do is I want you to, we have PyCharm installed. Let me just open this nicely. Let's just look at PyCharm and how it looks like. What are the different parts of the editor? So I'm going to close exit presentation mode so that you can see the normal presentation view. And you'll find a lot more information about this in the notes, the little booklet that I pointed out. It's available inside Google Classroom. So if you go through from page 11, 12, 14, up to 14, and so on, please go through that in your own time, okay? But just as a quick overview, this is the main compartment where you write your code. The part on the left is where you have the different files. On the bottom left, you have a number of tools. So you have your terminal, you have, I'll try and skip the complex things so I don't want to go into that. There's a Python console as well, where you can write out simple examples, and we'll probably use this at some point. Um, you can just test things. So for example, print text, and it'll do that. Okay, so that's a Python console. You can also see the Python packages installed. So if you have Python packages, whatever is installed, in this case, we only have pip that's installed. Pip is a package manager. And then you have, if you have Git connected, you're going to have version control at the bottom left. Now, so that's just a quick overview. As I said, please take time to go through this booklet. You all have access to this. And you've just created a project. And there's an example there, and it walks you through every line, what's going on in this example. There are comments at the top, there's an import statement, a function, and so on. So please go through page 18, page 19 for the annotated description of what's happening in that script. Now, what I want us to do now very quickly, and this is now quite a technical thing, we have PyCharm installed. I want you now to to connect your PyCharm with Git. So I'm going to do this step by step. This process can be very confusing, but the most important thing is, one is that you have the GitHub profile. You can't do anything from this point on without the GitHub profile. So what we'll do is we will click, because this code is not yet in Git, I'm going to now change my sharing. I'm going to change my sharing so that you can actually see. So let me stop sharing for a second, because there's certain things I want you to see. If you can't see them, you will. So I want you to pay close attention now, close attention. And I'm going to share my full screen, okay? So that you can not only see, so you can see Zoom, for example, and I want you to see my full screen. Okay. So this is what I want you to see. So if you notice, you can see the bar at the top where you can see the time on the top right where my mouse is. If I click on PyCharm now, you'll see there is an option at the top called VCS. Now, VCS stands for version control software or system. I don't care what it is, but that is supposed to change to Git. If you have Git installed, then now what you can do is you can right click on that, and you should have an option. Where is Git? Um, okay. You should go to VCS. On Windows, it will probably be different. It may be part and parcel of the window at the top. So I'd like someone to confirm that. You'd say create a Git repository. This is what we are looking for now. Create a Git repository. Now, I'm going to ask again in the chat, you have version control, okay? Okay. Yeah, so what I want you to do is whatever option it gives you, but you should say it should create a Git repository. You click on that, then you'll notice a couple of things. It'll open a dialog box. Just leave the default options. you should see the name of your project, which is called Python project, which will have the file. Just don't click on anything else. It'll create the Git repository in a different place. And then click open. And now you'll notice that your text has changed. The file has changed to red. The word main.py is now in red text. Is everyone there? Can I get thumbs up from all of you? Thumbs up if that's what you see. Good. Now, whenever you see a file is in red, it means that file is not yet part of Git. We want to add it to Git. Now, to add it to Git, you need to right click it, and then you'll go down to the option that says Git, and then you'll go up to the option that says add. And when you click that, it'll now change to green. From red to green. Red means not in the repository. Green means in the repository. But it means added, but it hasn't yet been saved in the repository. What we call committed. It hasn't been committed to the repository. Do we all see that? Has everyone been able to do that? I'd like to know if anyone has failed to accomplish that. Now notice also at the top, I no longer have VCS, I have Git. So that has changed to Git. Now I don't know what it is like on Windows. It should be something similar. Can I get a thumbs up if you get green and it has changed to Git? Thumbs up if you have green and it's changed to Git. Good. Can I get a thumbs down for... Okay, could I repeat it again? Yes, I could. You go to VCS. Now mine has changed, so I can't do that anymore. Well, I could actually do that for you. Let me do it. I'll do something cheeky here. And so I will rmrvf.git. So if I do that, it should now change back to VCS. It's confused now because, let's see. It should, well, if I close it and open it again, let me do that. Open it again. It should change back to VC. Oh, it hasn't changed to VCS. I don't know why. Let's just see. It's now confused because, oh, wow, that's going to be a... Okay. Oh my. Okay. Yeah. So you should click on VCS. Yeah, I think I've messed up mine, but that's not a problem. I can always recreate it very quickly. I can remove from the... Okay, now I'm going down a rabbit hole. I could get into a lot of trouble. Oh, I'll just create a new project. Now calling it project 1. I will not create a welcome script, project VN. So mine is called project V1. So just notice that. But now I have back my VCS. So what you need is VCS, create Git repository. Now, Joanne, please, I want a thumbs up from you when you have successfully clicked create Git repository. You cannot see VCS. Okay, you're probably using Windows. We are looking at the top. You should have after tools. What do you have on the menu? Can someone help her out if you're on Windows? Someone who succeeded in doing that. Can I get some assistance here, please? Version control. Yes, version control. Click on version control. Thank you, Muhammad. Let's give a thumbs up to Muhammad. Thank you very much, Muhammad. And also thank you to Joanne for asking that question. So I want a thumbs up from you, Joanne, when you've successfully clicked on version control and create Git repository. Or is that, did you click on your own? Did you like your, oh, there, thank you very much. Excellent. Thank you, Joanne. Okay, so now we create a Git repository and you should notice, and then you'll have Python project one. Don't change anything, just click open and it will now treat that folder as a Git repository. It will now be able to track changes on that. Now you have to manually enable it to manually guide it on tracking those changes, but for now we're just setting things up. So now you should notice that your file is read. Right click on the file and look for the option Git. And when you see that option Git, I want you to click on add. And that should change it from green to red. So, sorry, from red to green, sorry, red to green. Is everyone okay up to that point? So we only have 35 minutes and I want us to get this into GitHub. Now, this is being recorded, so I'm going to share the recording afterwards. So don't worry, you can always watch this later. So, okay, so now that it is green, green means it's been added but not yet omitted. Okay, so now what we're going to do is you're going to right click it and you go back to Git and you're going to say commit file. So this is like we are taking a snapshot. And it is good practice. I want to make this emphasis right here. It is good practice to regularly commit your files. The best way to think about it is every time you add some new changes, commit. Every time you add new changes, commit. Now, I'll commit this file and it's going to ask me, give me a message with this commit. And I'll say, this is the initial commit. So in the message type initial commit or whatever you want to type, and I want you to click commit. Now, once you click that commit, you'll see as if nothing much has changed. You will have noticed that the second button has now become activated on the top left, the blue where you see commit. So it's basically showing you can minimize that using this hide button here. Hide is here. Click hide and it will now, it will close that, but you can click on project. So it will open your project window again. Now notice that the text main is now white. So red meant that it was not yet added. Green meant it was added but not committed. And white means it is committed. It has no changes. Now, at your bottom left, now you all should all have Git. Now, what I'd like you to do is there's a button on your bottom left, and that's the Git button. You'll notice a button called Git at the bottom left, all the way to the bottom left. Click on that button, and it will now show you something interesting. You will now can see your commit history. You should see your commit history. So there are two tabs there. There's a tab called log, and there's a tab called console. It should be the log that is highlighted with blue, and you'll notice that you have initial commit. Now, you're going to get used to these things. So for now, don't worry if they seem very strange and new, but that's fine. If you click on that initial commit, you'll see the content of that commit. It was the main file. That's enough for now. And then you can minimize that again. You can minimize that. If you want to open it again, you could just click the bottom left button. It's always there. And then we minimize. Now we've committed this. In other words, we've taken a snapshot. We've saved that snapshot. Now we want to share this snapshot. Now for us to share this snapshot, we need to connect to GitHub. So now what we're going to do is we go to PyCharm and we'll go to settings. PyCharm and settings. Is everyone following me so far? I want a thumbs up if you are following me so far. Thumbs up. I just want to know that at least there are people who are capturing this. Joanne, are you successful in getting to this point? Anyone who is lost, can I get thumbs down from people who are lost? Thumbs down, either in the chat or in the React. I want to see a thumbs down if you're lost. I don't see any thumbs down, so I assume that everyone is following along. Going once, going twice, going, going. Okay, Florence, where are you stuck? You can unmute yourself and just talk. It'll be so much faster. Or you can type into the chat.
I was lost from where you've written the Python file. Like, I don't know if we should use the Python file you've used but because
Oh, so you
my
don't have to type it. So this is when we were creating the project, we said include a main script. So this is just dummy code. For now, don't worry about the content. Okay? So for now, you can even type your name, whatever, just a string. Even if you just typed, let me make it easy. Let's say I just made it just print hello world. Okay? That's enough. That's a complete Python program. Now, this is a good point to illustrate that I have changed the content of the file. Now notice that it's blue. The name of the file is blue here. Do you see blue? Blue means now we have changed something that was in the repository. So red means that it has not been added. Green means been added but not committed. You don't have to memorize this. Just go through your notes. You'll see the notes. You'll put all this there for you. And then white means everything is been committed. And blue means something that was committed has been changed. So I will do a new commit and I will I can now also either go through git commit and I can say simplified the code and I can say commit. Okay. And if I come back here, I can go to project at the top left. And you notice it's back to being white. If I click away from it, it's white. Now, if I go down left to git, I now have two commits. Two commits. Initial commit and simplified commit, and they're connected with this line. Are we together? Anyone who is lost? Florence, are we okay?
yes.
Good. Excellent. Thank you. So thumbs up for Florence for asking that question. How do you do the second commit? The second commit was so just in the same way, this one I used from the git commit at the top. I just changed the content. You can change the content. So previously you may have had def print high or something like that. If you make any change, even if you add a single space, notice I'm going to add a single space here, just one single space, and it has changed to blue. So it's very sensitive. It's always comparing to see, has anything changed? Has anything changed? Every time you start a new project, yes, so thumbs up to that question. Very good question. Every time you start a new project, you will have to add that project to Git. But then what I want to show you now is how to push to GitHub. That one you'll have what I'm showing you now, you'll have to do every time you start a new project. But the cycle of add, commit, that will happen now incrementally as you continue developing. So it's like when you create a project, you have to add it to create a GitHub repository. And then as you go adding more content, you have to add commit, or add commit, and then you'll just now incrementally be committing any future changes. Michael, is that clear? Okay, great. I see a thumbs up. No, that was not. Can you please repeat starting from the first commit? Okay, I can start from the first commit. So what I'll do is I'll create a new project. Let's just repeat this. I'll create a new project. This will be project 2 for me, okay? And I clicked here, create a welcome script. And I selected project VN, and I left everything as is. I did not select create a Git repository, but in the future you can do that. I just wanted you to see that you can do it from inside PyCharm. When I click create, And I'll just open that there. So now this is at the top, it should say version control. I haven't added it to the repo. So I create a Git repository. I click that. The moment I create a Git repository, it'll ask me which folder. By default, it'll pick the folder for the project. And then I say open. And now my text is green, is red, sorry, meaning it's not being tracked by Git. So I want it to be tracked by Git, so I have to add it to what Git can see. So I say add it, add this file. Now it's changed to green. And now that it's changed to green, it's not yet been committed, but it's been added. In other words, Git can see it. It's within sight of Git. But Git hasn't yet taken a snapshot. So now we right click, we go to Git and we say commit file, and we add a message, initial commit. And then we say commit. And when we do that, I can come back to the project and I can look at the file. It's white. That means that it has been added to the repository. And if I click at the bottom left button on Git, it now shows me I have an initial commit. Now, if I make changes, if I delete these comments, like that, and I delete these comments, now it's become blue. So because it's blue, it means it has changes since the last commit. So blue only happens when you've had a previous commit. So now I'll right click and I will say commit the changes. And I'll say removed comments. And I say commit. Okay, and now if I go back to the project folder and I look, the file is white again and I have 2 commits. Okay. Any questions at that point? And I want us now to push this to a remote repository. But we're going to do it from PyCharm. There's a way you can do it on the command line, but we'll do it from PyCharm. Any thumbs down? I want a thumbs down. Any thumbs down for anyone who is stuck? Okay, none. Okay, fine. So I will move on. So now for us to push to GitHub, PyCharm needs to be able to talk to GitHub. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I will go to the PyCharm. What I'm looking for is the settings. Now, I don't know where it is on Windows. It's probably under File Preferences or something like that. Can someone please type in the chat where we get the settings? Anyone who has already done this, who can help the rest of us, make sure we get the right settings. Where is it in Windows or Linux? I think one of you has Linux. 3 lines, top right corner. Oh, yes, there is that option on the right. Excellent. Thumbs up for Muhammad. So we have preferences on the top right. Okay, and there's settings. Excellent. Thank you so much. Come on, let's show Muhammad some appreciation for helping us out. So you click on settings. Okay. And now we are going to, you can search in there, you can say GitHub. And it will show you version control. We are looking for this option here, version control GitHub. That's what we're looking for. Now, I want you to, now you will probably have it blank. And if it is blank, we need to add. So again, we'll say login via GitHub. Don't forget about token. Token might not work very nicely for now. So yeah, so login via GitHub, click on that. It will open a window in your browser. And then you click authorize in GitHub. Okay, it'll open a window in your browser, click authorize GitHub. That way you will now log into GitHub and automatically give permission to PyCharm to talk to GitHub. So click authorize. I want to see, does everyone get authorized in GitHub? So remember we went to settings Inside version control, we have GitHub, what you see on your screen, and then you click the plus. Let me highlight that on my screen. This button here. Click that plus and say add, and you'll select login via GitHub. Log in via GitHub. Let me just open that. I can't open it now because I'm in the authorized state. And then it will open a JetBrains page and with a blue button that says authorize in GitHub. And then you click on that button and you'll be asked to log into GitHub so that GitHub will automatically take what it needs. And this is safe, so don't worry. It's not going to harm your computer. So can I get thumbs up for people who've done that? Anyone who's successfully done that? Can I get some thumbs up? Oh, great. Excellent. So you should end up with something like what you see on my settings tab where it says Paul Cade Korir github.com. You should end up with something like that. That means you are now connected to GitHub. And that means we can now go to the next step. So can I get some thumbs down? I want thumbs down. Anyone who's not been able to get that correctly. Thumbs down, please. Okay. So no thumbs down. That's fine. Good. That's excellent. So once you have that set up, you can now click OK. And now you should be able to talk to GitHub. Now, what we're going to do is we'll go back to the Git. And now we're going to click on GitHub and we'll say share project on GitHub. I'll leave that for a few seconds. And then you click share project on GitHub. And it'll give you a name of the project. So it's going to load my account in the background. Now, what I want you to make sure you do is you have private checked, because this is all dirty stuff we are posting, just quick and dirty. It's not good quality code. The remote is called origin. That's just a name. And then we'll click share. Once you click on share, it should notify you that it has pushed it to GitHub. I don't know if it's, so you may have to go into your GitHub account, and I don't know why it didn't show. That's a bit annoying. Let's see, it may have given you failed to create GitHub repository. Repository creation failed. Custom name already exists on this account. Okay, so in my case, it's because the repository already exists. But for you, it should have worked. Now, can I get thumbs up if anyone has been successful? Thumbs up if anyone has been successful. I just want to see. Okay, well done. Okay, very good. Excellent. Now, can I get thumbs down? Can I get thumbs down, please? Any thumbs down? How to share? Okay, so what you do is you go to GitHub, share project on GitHub. So Marceline, can I get a thumbs up if that is what you're looking for? Good, excellent. Thank you for asking that question. I'll give you a thumbs up for asking the question. Okay, any other thumbs down? Any other questions? Okay, so what we have basically covered, now I'm going to change my share. I'll now start sharing the. So what you've actually covered is we've gone through. I'll change my share now to this. Oh no, that's the wrong window. Chrome, yes. So this is what we've actually covered so far now. So we've installed Python, PyCharm, Git. We have a GitHub account. Okay, we've gone through all this. Now, what I'll ask you to do is, as I said, go through the first project, read through the instructions there. What does it tell you? Now, I have a couple of emphases here. We have configured Git with the GitHub account. All those steps are right here. All of them are right here. All the steps. This one is showing you how to do it with a token, but we've done it using the logging in, which is just as good. So you can read this for your own interest. This is also useful. You could also apply this. And in the end, we've shown how to create the Git repository. Everything is right here. Let me see if I can share. I want to make this as big as possible so that you can see. So everything is there. Adding files to the repository. So this, we've talked about adding. It's all here. I've explained that files become green. So they start off as red. Page 20, page 30, green, and then how to do commits, and yeah, changes to green, and then what else? Blue means you have changes, and then you can click on the GitHub, the Git little icon at the bottom to see your commits, and you can make changes. And then we've shown you how to share on GitHub. So all of this, and this, and you can see I've actually shared it, and it's now available. So if you go to your GitHub, you'll see that you've shared your code. Now, what you then need to do is anytime you make changes, you'll you'll commit and push, commit and push. That's the sequence. So that's it for our setup. What else do I want to check from you? So we've configured PyCharm for Git. We are done with that. There is a multiple choice question. You can do this on your own. I'd love to see what you get. And the only thing I need to now do is just give you a snippet of TOC, as well as tell you that there are some exercises you can try. So when you get to the end, after the multiple choice questions, there is a challenge that you can try out. The challenge is simply type out the program below, this program here, create a new project actually, type out that program, try and make it run, okay? And then save it into the repository and push. Very simple exercise. The second exercise is something you can do on GitHub. So on GitHub, visit your repository page. GitHub provides a lot of handy tools. I would like you to add some files. There is a license file, a gitignore file, and so on and so forth. I want you to play around with GitHub. We're going to start the proper coding tomorrow, but this now is just for you to be familiar with the environment so that by the time you're starting actual coding, you are comfortable. Now, let me give you a snippet of this idea about types, operations, and constructs. So this is what TOC is about. It boils down to this. Everything you'll ever write in code will fall into one of these three categories. Either types, tomorrow we look at atomic types, integers, floats, booleans, strings, none, or container types. We'll also look at that, lists and dictionaries. There are also things called tuples. And each of these have got operations behind them. For you to do anything with them, they have some operations. For example, integers can be added together. Floats can be multiplied together. Booleans, we can do Boolean arithmetic. You're going to learn about Boolean arithmetic in third year in digital electronics. Strings, you can stick strings to one another. You can search through strings. Those are now the operations. Some of those operations are expressed through methods. And then constructs are things the language comes with. It has a certain structure for how you do branching called if. There is a certain structure for how you do for. We'll look at these in detail. But I just want you to be aware of these three categories. Types, every type has got operations, and every language has got constructs. Those three things, those are the most important things that you need to be aware of. I'm going to pause here. Do we have any questions? Any questions? Now, the last thing I want from you is I want to know what time to have the next class. Because at the moment, I think the current schedule is one which conflicts with my work. I have a meeting at the time. So could you all fill in this doodle poll right now? And we're going to vote on which. So just click on the doodle poll. I'll paste them in the chat. And for each of them, just enter your name and make a vote. So that is for session 2. Actually, let me put it properly. I just put it with the text. Session 2, that's the same link, so don't worry about that. And then for session 3, I'd like just one vote per person. Please don't vote more than once. As I said, I want us to be honest. Let's just be honest and let's deal with this um, as, as helpfully as possible so that we can make the most out of this opportunity. So over the next 2-3 minutes, can I please get you to vote? And I'm going to close the vote very soon. So this is for session 2. And the duplicates I get for session 3. So let's please vote so that we can. I'll just give you 3 minutes to vote. After that, I'll close the vote and decide on the time based on the vote. I think each of these have a very strong consensus in favor of 11 to 1. Okay, I think it's pretty clear. So I'm going to call it, since I don't have a lot of time, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. So tomorrow and Friday, 11 to 1. I'll just put that on my calendar for everyone. Okay. So I think we've covered everything. We've decided on the class. I encourage you to do the multiple choice questions. They're very simple. They're just there to test, to help you jog your minds. And I will I will put together the outline for tomorrow's class, and then we'll yeah. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Please follow the exercises that I've the challenges. They'll really help you get some exercise with being familiar with PyCharm. If I were you, I'd close PyCharm, open it again, create a new project, write some rubbish code, just copy and paste whatever. You can here you can use Gen AI. Yes, if you want to put some Gen AI code and then save it, well, it will save automatically. But then create a repository, and and then from that repository commit it, and then try and push, make some changes, commit it and push, make some changes, commit it and push. That's your homework. I will assume tomorrow that you know how to do that. I will not cover this again. So that's it for me today. Any questions before we leave? Any questions? Can I get a thumbs up if I'll stop sharing my screen now? I just want to get a sense. Can I get a thumbs up if you generally followed what was going on today? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, then. Can I get a thumbs down if you are completely lost? Completely lost. Can I get a thumbs down? Okay, I don't see any thumbs down, so that's encouraging to me. I wish you all a great afternoon, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye.